Oh man, yeah. So yeah, you see it, and I'm pretty sure you already heard the news. It's all over the place. Everybody's talking about it. Big trade. It was rumored to happen weeks ago. We didn't know if it was going to go down, but it looked like the Rockets are really serious about changing the culture there. They got rid of the GM. They got rid of D'Antoni. Now Russell Westbrook is gone. Uh, don't know if James Harden is next. Don't know how far they want to go with that. We'll see if Brooklyn can come up with a trade package that they'll like. We'll see if Philly can come up with a trade package. You know, I keep hearing that Ben Simmons and Harden trade might be a real thing. I don't know if the Ben Simmons and Harden trade is going to be a real thing, but um, I wouldn't be surprised if it goes down. So let's get right into it. Houston Rockets trade Russell Westbrook for John Wall. They both max players, making about 41 million a year. So the money sounds right, but you know they get a first round pick for 2023 in the process with that as well. So I think that was good. But who got better? Who fits better? You know, how things going to change moving forward for Houston, and the same for the Wizards. Let's start with Houston first. Obviously, um, D'Antoni style of play fit. You know, the way James Harden skill set was, as far as him being a dominant on ball player, one-on-one ISO type player, and that didn't mesh well with any of the stars they bought in. They bought in Dwight Howard. He never got a chance to post up and do his thing. It was just high screen and roll and catching alley oops and getting offensive rebounds and playing defense. That was it. That didn't work. James Harden tried it with Chris Paul. That didn't work because you got this pure point guard who needs the ball, and you got this man playing off the ball because James Harden and D'Antoni's offense wouldn't come off the ball. Um, then you got Melo didn't work. Then you got Westbrook, who they swore was going to work because they were such good friends. That didn't seem to work. Westbrook want to know that. So now you're bringing in John Wall, who is another point guard who have good on ball skills, who need the ball to get to the hole. He's not like a shooter like a Bradley Beal. Um, and we're going to see how that fit. And they also bought in a post player in DeMarcus Cousin, who's not like Dwight Howard, who's going to do high screen and roll and catch alley oops. Yes, he can stretch the floor to the 3 point line and do a little pick and pop up top. But I doubt on the Silas, Coach Silas, I doubt they're going to be playing like that. I think they're trying to get away from that style of play. And I think James Harden is capable of playing a different style. He has to, in order for this to work, James Harden has to give up and sacrifice so they can win. He has to stop playing ISO ball. It looks good for points. It looks good for style points. It even wins you some ball games, but it's not going to take you deep. It's always going to crash and burn at the end. He's got to stop it, and it isolates your teammates. That you know, do you want max ability and max performance from just yourself, or do you want max from you and your teammates? If your style of play only allows you to put out your max performance, but it takes only half of what your teammates can give, you're not going to beat the good teams. It can't just be James Harden. It has to be all the people that you brought in. And now you have John Wall and DeMarcus Cousins who bring a lot to the table. I really think James Harden has to change his style of play. He's the only one who has the ability to go off the ball. He can use, and it's the same thing that Michael Jordan had to do when Phil Jackson showed up. He couldn't play the LeBron style of basketball and have the ball all the time, and also have Scottie Pippen and Horace Grant reach their full potential. We would have never known how good of a point forward Scottie Pippen was if Michael Jordan never made that decision to go off the ball. James Harden has that ability. He's the best player. He's the max player. He's the superstar. He needs to change up his game to bring his teammates on board. That's what he needs to do. So, looking at this roster, uh, and I would say Christian Wood wouldn't be the starter. The way they got this depth chart, this is ESPN. I would say DeMarcus Cousins would be in that starting lineup, but they got him out of it because he's still day to day with his injury. He's still recovering. But let's say he's 100% healthy when the season starts in December, right? Uh, I would start PJ Tucker at the power forward and DeMarcus Cousins at the 5. The reason why I like that lineup is, for one, John Wall before his injury was a good defender. He guarded point guard as well. He's very long with his wingspan, athletic. I don't know if the knee and the Achilles slowed him down too much, and if it's going to affect him being a good defender. But I think he should still be a decent defender. So guarding ones and twos, John Wall can do that. Eric Gordon, the effort is there defensively, but PJ Tucker is definitely a defender. So this team already looks different in how it's constructed. I think, Silas is his dad was an old school coach. Coached in Charlotte, coached the Cleveland Cavs. He played with the Boston Celtics back when there was the bomb. So I think Silas is going to be hard nosed and old school, and I think this team is going to be trying to play really, really good defense. It's going to be totally different from D'Antoni. So I like that setup. I really do. But like I said, it all depends on if James Harden is willing to come off of the ISO ball, right? And as far as the Wizards, how this is why I think that could work. And I hate when people say this trade work, trades work out for both sides. Obviously, in most trades, one team wins and one team doesn't win, right? But ever so often you see a trade where, hey, look, man, we both win. They didn't give up a ton of players and a ton of draft picks. It was a one player for player swap in a first rounder, right? Player for player swap. The money was even. They both was making $41 million. So no one got the better of the trade that way. But I think the only difference is culture change, attitude change of scenery, all that stuff. If you look at John Wall and Bradley Beal, they had bad blood a little bit. I don't know if it was real bad blood, but it was reported that there was somewhat beefing. And I think the first time when John Wall started having his knee injuries, and he would go out of the lineup for 5, 6, 7, 8 games, and they would come back. It was teammates reportedly saying that the offense ran better when it was Bradley Beal versus when John Wall was there. Like they said, the ball moved more, right? So that was like the first rift between John Wall and Bradley Beal, and they had to keep coming out and saying, "Hey, look, now we want to play together. We want to work this out." So obviously, where there's smoke, there's fire, and with John Wall requesting to leave, hindsight being 2020, yeah, it was some truth to that, right? So you get rid of John Wall, who the Wizards was his team first, and then Bradley Beal comes in and performs very well, and it becomes somewhat of a controversy. You get rid of him and you bring in Westbrook. Now that's different. I think John Wall was reluctant to hand the keys over to Bradley Beal. Hey, I'm the max player. I'm the number 1 draft pick. I'm the person that was here first who was carrying his franchise. That was probably his attitude toward Bill, right? And Bill probably was thinking in his head, look, the team runs better when I'm here. I've been not getting injured. I've been holding it down, and that was probably the rift between them. You probably don't have that with Westbrook showing up. I think Bradley Beal will probably be a little more reluctant to say, hey, look, man, this is an MVP caliber player right here. He's won MVP. He's ran teams by himself. He's a bona fide superstar. I think Bradley Beal probably like, okay, I'll play the backfield a little bit. I'll be your CJ McCollum to your Dame Lillard, right? That's probably the thought process that management probably had when they was thinking, let's make this trade. And I'm just guessing, but this is me observing from what I see. And also, Russell Westbrook probably being on his third team in 3 years is probably a little bit humble as well. So I think they'll share a little bit more. You know, he won't have to give up as much as he did when he played with Harden, but he's going to have to give a little bit. So just getting a little bit of his Thunder days back to play with Bill, I think he's ready for it. And under Paul Silas, I think James Harden, even if he's not ready for it, is not going to have a choice to play a different style. It's not going to be that D'Antoni ISO ball, right? So that's how I think the trades went. Obviously, I think the Houston Rockets are probably going to perform better during the season. Number one, because they got DeMarcus Cousins and they still got Harden, right? And then you still got a player like John Wall that's in the backcourt with Harden, and there was already a playoff team. So the Wizards got more of an uphill battle. They got more young people they got to rely on. Actually, I'll pull their roster up now. So Westbrook, Bradley Beal in backcourt. I don't know if Bertans will be their starter. I would think, man, I like Hachimura at the 4 or the 3. I want to see how much he developed if he's able to move to that 3 and be somewhat of a wing player and kind of be on that same trajectory that Kawhi Leonard was on when he was in San Antonio. This athletic 6'8" guy with that's muscular and it can move and he can defend. I really like how he defended when he was at Gonzaga and they played against Duke. He defended Zion well. He defended Reddish well, and he defended RG Barrett well, and they got the win. So I like him. So I think he can be a 3 in this league. I just want to see how much he developed over the summer or over the off season. So I like him at the 3. Thomas Bryant, he's decent enough, and it seems like they're still looking for a 4 to start. All season's not done, so I like Wagner. He showed me something even when he was with the Lakers. So I actually like him better than Bertans. Yeah, I actually like him better than Bertans. So we'll see. What's up, Jose? Wall Cousins come back the same. They got a shot. If not, no way. I can bet against Brian Wizards. Might knock someone off, but I don't see them being better than the other top teams in the East. Wizards might knock somebody off in the East. All right, so let's think about the East. Obviously, we think Brooklyn is going to be top, right? We think Brooklyn is going to be up top. We think Boston's going to be in the mix. We probably think with Doc Rivers and a healthy Ben Simmons, we probably think Philly's going to be in the mix. Of course, Milwaukee getting Drew Holiday to add with Giannis, they're going to be in the mix. That's 4. Who am I missing? Bucks. Oh, the Heat, the defending Eastern Conference champions. That's 5 in the East. So what do you think? So I don't think the Wizards got a chance at none of those 5 teams. So between 6, 7, and 8. So we already got 5 off the board in the East. 6, 7, and 8 spot. Who's competing for that? Is the Wizards in that competition? I don't know. I don't see the Hornets in there. I don't see the Hawks in there. Toronto, that's 6. Yeah, that's tough. Atlanta did get deep. You're right, Jose. Atlanta did get and of course with Cam Reddish developing, and they got 2 first-round draft picks last year, and of course Trae Young year before that. They got some pieces, man, and they just picked up Rondo to help them out. Yeah, I would think Atlanta might be in that 7 spot. And then it's a battle for the 8 seed, right? I think that's the only thing that's really open, barring injury, is a battle for the 8 seed with um I don't know if the Hornets can take that step. So you got Hornets, you got Wizards. Um, everybody else is really just up in the air, if not trash. So I don't know. You think they should put then it's a start just to see if he can be a superstar? Who? Denny. What about New York? you think New York go too soon? Hey, no. So look, so this the deal with the Knicks, right? I know they had a horrible offseason last year when they got like 5 power forwards, same position, and it just they had Randall, they had what's my kid that came from the Bulls? I forgot his name. Portis. They had Portis, Julius Randle. They obviously was figuring out if Kevin Knox was going to play 4 or the 3, so they was trying to figure that out. They had Mitchell Robinson. They picked up Taj Gibson. I mean, they just had all these players at the 4 spot, and then they had the same cluster at the point guard position, drafting Ntilikina and being invested in him, and then saying, "Oh no, we're not investing in him. We're gonna bring in Moutier." And then they brought in Dennis Smith Jr. Then they drafted RJ Barrett. I'm like, what the heck are they doing? Like they had a cluster at 2 positions, point guard and power forward. It was horrible, right? So now they bring in Tom Thibodeau to kind of clean it up, and I'm rooting for Dennis Smith Jr. because I think he got a lot of potential. And plus he's from he's from North Carolina just like I am, so I'm rooting for him. And one of my good high school buddies trained him while he was in high school, so I'm kind of biased in that sense, man. I want to see Dennis Smith do good. But and I think Thibodeau might like his style because he played the same style that Derrick Rose played in Chicago. Very fast, athletic, big body point guard that can get to the hole, right? And I think at that time, I think Dennis Smith Jr. might have better shooting touch than Derrick Rose did at that time. So I think he can do something with Dennis Smith Jr. if they give him a shot. If they get him a shot, man. And right, yeah, Chris, Wall and Cousins is very interesting because one, they good friends. They played together at Kentucky. They always wanted to play together. I watched some of their interviews, and I've heard them both say, "Man, it'll be real nice to play with Boogie." So it's gonna be really interesting. And like you said, health is going to be the biggest thing. But they don't have to have and carry so much on their shoulder, man. It's the perfect situation because James Harden has been healthy most of his career, if not all of his career. He's almost like an Iron Man. So that's a constant. And John Wall and DeMarcus Cousins don't have to carry all that load. Harden's gonna do a lot of the offense. So they can come in there and ease their way in and hope, man. I want to see it work. I'm glad D'Antoni's out of there. I want to see it work, man. Then it's a night pick in the draft. People say he should have went top 5 with Obi. Oh, I forgot about Obi. He went to the Knicks, right? See, I like that, but I'm not big on young players, man. I mean, even the greatest young players. Who's that? Jose live in Winston. Yeah, I'm from Greensboro, Jose. But I'm out here in Cali now though. I'm in San Diego, man. So but yeah, I'm from Greensboro. And my homeboy that trained Dennis Smith Jr. was from Greensboro as well, but he moved to Fayetteville, and that's where he met Junior at. Yeah. Yeah, we might have to get up next time I come down there. Next time I get out there. Yeah, and that's another thing I wanted to touch on, Chris. Will the Harden trade happen? And it looked it looked like it might, because even when we heard the rumor of the Westbrook and Wall trade, that was rumored about a week or two ago. We heard that rumor and nobody gave it any thought, man. There's no way, we thought there was no way that was going to happen, right? And then it happened, so behind the scenes, obviously they was working on it. And like I said, where there's smoke, there's fire. So with that rumor of Harden to Brooklyn, maybe they're still working it and trying to figure that out. These moves they made don't look like the type of moves they're going to make to try to keep Harden in Houston, right? Because I think his whole thing was he didn't like the direction that Houston was going on. And code word, I think what that really means is I love D'Antoni's system because I get to do everything on the court. Who wouldn't love that? Right. So I think he was saying, oh, you got rid of Morey and D'Antoni, and these were the guys that was letting me spin and do what I wanted to do. I don't like the direction we're going in. And he wanted out, right? So I think it's one of those things where I would sacrifice my game if I'm playing with somebody like KD, but I'm not about to sacrifice my game for DeMarcus Cousins and John Wall or Westbrook. That's probably his thinking. It's either that or James Harden has really bought in and he's had conversations with Silas, and he understands that the direction is going to be the play style is going to be different from what they was doing when D'Antoni was there. It's either or. It's either or. So hope is the latter, because I would love to see a big three in Brooklyn. You know what I mean? Because I think it'll bring some balance back in the league, because it looks like the Lakers are running away with the offseason. They already won it, so obviously the squad was built to win. And I would like to see somebody else threaten it, especially Durant. I would love to see Durant just throw a wrench in LeBron's game one more time, because LeBron went to a super team in Miami, and that team was supposed to win not 4, not 5, not 6, not 7, not 8, right? And it looked like it. It was 3 superstars on one squad in their prime. So it looked like they was going to run away with it, but obviously chemistry and play style issues and flaws in their superstars games and stuff like that didn't allow for them to win it like we thought they would, but they did get 2 out of 4. So that was the first thing that kind of messed up his plan. Then he went and built another squad, not as powerful as Miami, but compared to what other teams had, that Cleveland squad was pretty good with Kevin Love and Kyrie and J.R. Smith. It was pretty good. So he got a ring with that. And then KD was like, you know what? I'm going to just join the Warriors and just rain on your parade. And he took 2 straight rings from him, man. 2 rings that LeBron probably could have got. He probably could have beat the Warriors again without KD. But KD was just like, nah, I'm gonna come rain on your parade. And it'll just be poetic justice. He wins in LA and he feels that he's gonna run right through the league again because he got another superstar in AD. And if KD just happened to join up with Kyrie and James Harden and DeAndre Jordan and rain on his parade, at the league will be lit. It'll be real good. Real good, man. I'm not sure Harden okay with Westbrook trade. I feel like they had a great relationship. I don't think he was happy about it. I think he was ecstatic about it. It's as good as a relationship they had. I don't think he wanted someone there threatening the style of play that he wanted to play. And I don't think Westbrook was happy with standing by and watching Harden do his thing and they just take turns. That's just horrible. I mean, come on, man. Think about the type of attitude Westbrook had with having someone as good as KD on his squad in OKC, and he still wanted to have his will be done. So if he was voicing his opinion in Houston, and I don't think Harden got a problem with him leaving at all, man. Marlon Cousins come back as shells. I can see Harden being traded in the middle of the season. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't think it makes it to the middle of the season. I really think Harden's going to be gone. Uh, I really think he's going to be gone before the season. I really do, man. Cause I don't know, man. But it'd be bad for Houston. Um, well, be honest with you, if you really think about it, if Harden's not going to bring you a championship, and let's say they don't go with the trade this summer, or this off season, and they go into the season and play 2 months, just to see how the coaching staff and the new squad meshes. Let's just give them a shot. If it don't work, and you got two max players on your squad, and it don't look like you're going to be successful, I can see Houston trying to get off one of those contracts. And the later they go on into the season, everyone's going to know that they're trying to get off their hardened contract. So his value, or what they can get back, would be less than if they did it now. Because if I'm a GM, and you asking me right now for asking, if I'm Brooklyn and you asking me for Dinwiddie, I think it was 2 first round Dinwiddie, 2 first rounders, and Karis LeVert. Right on the surface, you look at that and say, well, they're not getting a superstar in return. They're getting 2 good players and 2 first rounders, but they're not getting a superstar in return. So that's probably why that trade didn't go down and haven't went down yet, because they looking like, hey man, superstar for a superstar. You just can't give us picks and 2 good players. So they probably thinking, can we get Kyrie? And Brooklyn is like, hell no, right? But if it's mid-season and you come back to me and I'm thinking, hey man, I know you don't want that daggone 41 million cap hit on your salary, and you're barely a playoff team, and you know you can't beat the Lakers, the Blazers, you probably can't even beat the Warriors, right? So I know you're just trying to dump that salary. I'm not gonna give you all them picks. I'm gonna offer you probably Karis LeVert and probably Dinwiddie, and that's it. Maybe 1 pick, maybe, but it won't be the same deal. And that's what I think. They gotta do something, man. Laker fan, Durant is by far the most dangerous offensive scorer in the league, in my opinion. Triple threat, post player. Yep. And then the Warriors had him playing defense. He was a rim protector on the back end of the rotation. He switched on screens. He'll switch on a wing player or guard. He'll switch on the big man. He was disruptive on defense. It was good to see him playing defense like that. And I always wonder why did it take him playing defense? Why did it take him going to the Warriors to start playing defense? And I heard in one of his interviews he said they didn't ask him to play defense in OKC. That wasn't his role, which is a poor answer, horrible answer, because when you that good and that great, you get compared to the best. And I've never heard Michael Jordan say they didn't ask me to play defense. You don't have to ask Mike to play D. And that's the difference between Kobe and Michael and LeBron and KD. Like, how the heck are you picking and choosing when you're going to play defense? You get what I'm saying? So you got players like KD who said he didn't play defense at OKC because they didn't ask him to. And you got LeBron saying, I'm doing so much on offense, so I'm taking plays off on defense. That didn't happen for Mike and Kobe, man. They didn't take plays off. Them dudes was elite defenders, man. How are you the best scorer in the league and an elite defense defender at the same time? It's just phenomenal, man. Championship teams, any other team, is just Warrior squad. 4 All-Stars, 2 MVPs, the greatest scorer, the 2 greatest shooters, defensive player of the year. 2015, Kyrie Love got injured. They had a championship team. Any other team is just the Warriors squad. Hold on, what are you saying, Jose? Are you saying that the Cavs was outmatched by the Warriors those years when KD ate LeBron's heart? So let's look at that. I mean, because it all sounds good. 4 All-Stars, right? 2 MVPs, right? What does 4 All-Stars mean? Because I do remember Atlanta Hawks squad that had 4 All-Stars. Kyle Korver, Al Horford, I want to say Jeff Teague, and it was one more person. You remember that Hawk squad? So does 4 All-Stars mean that your squad is just automatically a super squad or a great squad or outmatch everybody? You got to remember, you can be an all-star, but not be a superstar. All-star just means that, hey, you got somebody voted you in, somebody thought enough of you and put you in there, right? But was Draymond Green an all-star this year without Clay and Steph being on the court? Because Steph was an all-star regardless of who's on the squad. KD was an all-star anywhere he goes. So those are real all-stars. When you just make an all-star team, that don't make you an all-star, don't make you a superstar. Kyle Korver made an all-star. They don't make him, they don't change your team none. So 4 all-stars don't mean that much to me. So what the Warriors really was a superstar in Steph Curry and a superstar in KD. They had 2 superstars. And then when you look at the Cleveland Cavaliers, what did they have? 2 superstars. They had Kyrie and LeBron. So they evenly matched with the amount of superstars. Then they had another star player in Klay Thompson. So I give Klay the star title, but not superstar. So you had Klay Thompson as a star. Well, Kevin Love was a star. So you even with that. Then you had Draymond Green, great role player. And then you had J.R. Smith, another great role player, evidenced by his 6 Mans of the Years, what he did in Denver, what he did in New York. He was a starter in the league. He's a scorer. He was just limited to what he can do in that LeBron offense. So when you really look at it, as far as personnel was concerned with the Cavs and the Warriors, they were evenly matched when KD showed up. Actually, the team without KD that LeBron beat that won 73 games, actually the Cavs outmatched them. Right? So, and the only reason why the Warriors, like you said, beat the Cavs that first year is because Kyrie got hurt in game 1 and Kevin Love was hurt. So it ended up being LeBron by itself. So yeah, that team outmatched LeBron. But when it was even, when both of them was healthy, what happened? The Cavs beat them because the Cavs had the more souped up squad, to be honest with you. But when KD showed up, now it made the playing field even. Everything's even again. And the difference in the ball game was style of play versus style of play. You got one style of play on Cleveland end that is ISO ball domination, your turn, my turn, top of the key, high screen and roll, versus the equal opportunity offense that the Warriors ran, where anybody can score, anybody can get the assists, anybody can be on the ball, off the ball, and you got a deadly superstar in Kevin Durant who could do more than what LeBron can do offensively. So that's why it was a 4-0 sweep and a 4-1 gentleman sweep 2 years in a row. That's what you had. So, yeah. True, great two-way players. Forced to keep him. Yeah. KD is the best all-around scorer. Jordan scored more, and you can say advanced stats go his way, but KD length and can shoot from anywhere. Yeah, I like what KD said, though. He said, I think somebody tweeted out last week, KD is a better scorer than LeBron, and KD retweeted it and commented and said, he said Michael Jordan is one of one. I still study his tapes right now. And I'm glad he said that. He said, leave me out of the conversation. He said, leave me out of the conversation of Mike. I only want to be in that conversation. I'm still studying his tapes, man. You know, and obviously, when you think about who you're studying, if you're a scorer and you're a wing guy, who are you studying? Like, you might study Kobe, you might study MJ. It just is what it is. That's who you're studying. If you're a if you're a wing player and you're a scorer, even Kyrie studied Kobe. Kawhi studied Kobe, right? So they're studying Kobe and Mike, right? Why isn't anyone studying LeBron? Not a knock on LeBron, but there's nothing I can learn from someone bulldozing to the rim. You know what I mean? And you can't teach LeBron's natural instincts as a passer, and that's his number one and number two best attribute. I'm big and fast, and you can't stop me from getting to the rim. And if you double to try to stop me, I'm a great passer. That's his 1-2 punch. There's nothing to study. I can't go in the film room and say, hey man, show me how you blew past that guy. But with Mike, you know, he's posting guys up, and you know, you got Kobe Bryant asking him questions in the middle of the game. Hey man, how did you beat me on that shimmy shake and fadeaway? How do you feel the defender on defense and know which way to go? And Mike giving him advice, right? That's being a student of the game. You're studying guys like that. Like if you're a big man and you want to learn low post moves, who do you call? Even though Shaq was the most physically dominant big man in our era, you don't call Shaq. You call Hakeem Olajuwon. So here it is, Olajuwon showing everybody the dream, shaking all this stuff, because that's a skill set you can pass down. You can't pass down 7'1", 370 pounds. You can't pass that down. You can't pass down 6'8", 270 with speed like a point guard. You can't pass that down. So everyone's studying MJ, Kobe, or Olajuwon, you know, and for those guys like Michael Jordan, he studied guys like he studied everybody. He studied, I think his favorite player was David Thompson. You know, he studied big guards that posted up. You know, he studied so many people, man, and then he had a natural, you know, footwork and feel for the game. Dude was just amazing, man. It's just a different animal when you're talking about them dudes. You know what I mean? So here, Jose, what you laughing at, man? What I say? Clippers. Obviously, I like the Clippers last year. I like the idea of having two high level elite wing defenders. I like that idea. What I don't like is their point guard position, because while I like Pat Beverly coming off the bench, I wouldn't really want Pat to start, right? You know, I want something different in the point guard position. I mean, you even get more offense from Kyle Lowry, right? Kyle Lowry, with all his struggles in the playoffs before, he gave Kawhi way more in the playoffs than what you can get from Pat Beverly. And I like Pat Beverly's heart. I like his defense and all that stuff, but he just don't give you that. So I want them to address, you know, I don't know if Reggie Jackson in his second year can be that, but you know, it's one of those situations where Pat Beverly's been there so long. If he goes to the bench, you know, that might turn into some type of locker room issue. If he goes to the bench for the new guy, you know, that just came in. Then if he goes to the bench, you know, I don't know, having him come in at the same time, Lou Will coming off the bench, I don't know. It's just so weird. It's so weird, man. So I don't like the point guard position. But I really love Serge Ibaka. He's smart. He has 3-point range, got a good mid-range jump shot. So he's going to stretch the floor a little bit there. So that's different from Montrezl Harrell. And then you get shot blocking. Then you're not going to get all that ego. I think Montrezl Harrell's ego kind of contributed to some of the locker room issues that we heard about. So I don't know. if they're going to miss him that much. But I think the worst thing that losing Montrez really did was you lost him to your hometown rivals. You lost him to the Lakers. If he would have went anywhere else, it probably wouldn't have stung that much. But just the fact he went to the Lakers and that's going to be your number one competition, um, that makes it all right. But I like Luke Kennard if he can stay healthy. I like him. He's a shooter. They gave up Shamet for him, but Shamet was up and down for so much. I think Luke Kennard might be different, so I like that. And we'll see, man. If you got a whole year that Paul George stayed healthy. Once he came back from from sitting out, he was in the lineup pretty much the whole time, minus a couple of games. So I like that. Another year under their belt, they're a little bit healthier. I guess it's all mentally from here, man. How strong mentally is Paul George going to be? I mean, this man broke down in the bubble, was having pretty much mental breakdowns, and he admitted to it. Like, hey, man, I checked out. I don't get that. I don't understand that. That's your second guy. It's kind of the same situation that Michael Jordan was in when, hey, man, we finally got a squad that can compete with the Pistons. We got Phil Jackson here for the second season. We know the offense. We know the triangle offense a little bit better this year. Scottie Pippen is playing better. Horace is playing better. All right, boom, let's go ahead and take the Pistons down. And here it is, Game 7 in the Eastern Conference Finals. My number 2 showed up and said, I got a headache and I can't see. All right. That's the type of stuff that Paul George is giving to Kawhi right now. Hey, man, I checked out. Your number 2 is telling you he checked out. I checked out. I could imagine what Kawhi was thinking. What do you mean you checked out? You get what I'm saying? So that's tough to deal with, man. That's real tough to wear. So if I had to pick one to try to get a bucket and be defended by every other that ever played in the NBA, who you going with? They only get one shot to drop a bucket on everyone. If you had to pick one player to try to get a bucket and be defended by every other player, one player to get a bucket, it's going to be Mike. That's easy. That's real easy. It's Mike. But you can't go wrong if you pick KD. Can't go wrong with KD. You can't go wrong with Mike. Can't go wrong with Kobe. And it don't have to be wing. You really can't go wrong with Kareem. He had an unstoppable shot. His sky hook was high percentage and almost unblockable. So you need Wilt Chamberlain to stop that. Right? It's got to be Wilt. You get what I'm saying? So Kareem, MJ, KD, Kobe, it don't matter. Maybe even Shaq. If because 95% of everybody who's ever played, Shaq can, if no double teams coming, Shaq can back you down and dunk. It's gonna be easy. If it's one-on-one, it's a mouse in the house. It's one on ball. So it's gonna be boom boom and back down and dunk. So that's easy. Clippers my favorite team. I don't want Paul George, to be honest. He throwing his coach under the bus after he said himself that he ain't play up to par. Plus people was injured, suspended, and ain't want to be in the bubble. It's a lot of people that didn't want to be in the bubble at first. If you go back and look at some of my old podcasts when we was talking about it before the bubble came back, I was like, man, I think the social justice piece and the momentum that the players had was far more important than bringing the NBA season back. And I wanted to see that momentum continue and to build. And I think a lot of players did as well. So going into the bubble, people was going in half-hearted to start with. And then I think the incentive it's funny, man, because I don't want to sound like I'm hating on the Lakers, man, but obviously LeBron is playing for his legacy, right? Of course, he's playing for because he loves to play, he loves the game, he wants to compete and all that stuff, but he couldn't lose another year because everything from here on out is he needs to add to his legacy. That's what it's all about. He's adding to his legacy, and there's not a lot of players who got legacy on their mind when they're playing. I can think of off the top LeBron. AD has come out of his mouth and said the reason why he wanted to leave New Orleans and why he was turning down that Supermax deal that he can get in New Orleans is because he said it's not about the money. He said I'm playing for legacy, which sounds about right because he's represented by Clutch Sports. So who he got in his ear? None other than LeBron James. So AD's playing for legacy. LeBron's playing for legacy. Kobe was playing for legacy. I mean, his decision to separate from Shaq was about his legacy. It wasn't so much ego. He said out of his mouth, he said that when he won 2 championships with Shaq or 3 championships with Shaq, and he heard all the chatter of people saying, yeah, you're a great player, but you had the greatest center, the most dominant player of all time on your squad. So they started, I guess, diminishing or discrediting his 3 rings. And he didn't want to be known as that because he came in the league and said, I want to be the best player that ever played. So he made it known he was chasing Michael Jordan. And he couldn't be regarded as good as Mike if he was playing with Shaq. So his motivation was to leave Shaq. From the time they got that 3rd ring, he was like, man, I got to get from under his wing so I can show people what I can do. So he was thinking about legacy. So that's about 4 or 5 players, but there's a lot of superstars. It's like, man, I don't care about no freaking legacy. You know what I mean? I'm here to hoop, man. KD was like that. I'm here to hoop, bro. I'm here to hoop. Dame Lillard is like, look, man, y'all turning down Supermax. What are you turning down the Supermax for? That's dumb. But people are doing it for legacy. Right. So when you think about LeBron's motivation to want, because just like Pat Beverly said, when LeBron came out and was like, hey, LeBron said we hooping, so we hooping. We're going in the bubble. You know, LeBron's their leader, right? He's the face of the NBA. And remember, they had that meeting. The players got up, the players union. I think Chris Paul and everybody was at the meeting. They said that Kyrie was strongly against the bubble, and everybody criticized him, saying that he did that because I don't know, because he's hating on LeBron. Obviously, the person that the strongest and the loudest person that wanted to go in that bubble was LeBron, and his motivation is his own legacy. His own legacy is the motivation for going in that bubble. So it's crazy that the bubble even happened, and like I said, people went in there half-hearted. So I'm not gonna blame Paul George for having that mental breakdown because he probably really didn't want to be there. But LeBron's motivation was that ring because I need it for my legacy. Let me know if I'm wrong. Do you agree or not? Agree with somebody? Put in the comments if you agree or not. Kareem do sound fire. He too big. He can score on. Yep, for sure. Yeah. React to Michael Jordan, define gravity, more unseen footage on Michael Jordan. All right, bet. Hey, put the link in. Send the link to in one of the comment sections on the last video I reacted to. I think I remember that though. Define gravity. I'll react to it tomorrow. Or I might do it tonight. I'll react to it tonight and I'll post it tomorrow. What's going on, bro, from Twitch? Yeah, man. What's up, dog? Oh, I appreciate that, man. 10 out of 10. Nice background, good topic. Shiny ball head. That's what's up. Hey, man, make sure you subscribe to the channel, man, because so this is what we got on. So this channel is just not sports, right? So I got about 5 or 6 podcasts in the works. We only got 2 podcasts that is posted so far, and that's the Man Down podcast, which is mostly sports, but we discuss anything in society, because everything is important, man. I just don't want to be a sports head, even though I am a sports head. But I would only be giving people half of myself if I only talked about sports, man, because there's other things that I really care about, man. So with the Man Down podcast, man, we discuss everything and we have fun and we laugh and all that stuff, man. So that's a good podcast, but we got other stuff as well. And then of course I do my reaction videos because I really literally wake up thinking and sleeping basketball. I've been doing that my whole life, man. So I can talk about that with with the best of them. Yeah, so make sure you subscribe and please send as much traffic to the channel as possible so we can build up the community, because I'm gonna be posting a lot of content, man, and I plan on rocking this thing for a long time, and I need help getting to 1,000 subscribers ASAP. It's moving really slow, but yeah, I really need help getting to 1,000 subscribers. So go jump on YouTube, my guy from Twitch, jump on YouTube, find the Man Down Podcast Network, subscribe to us, and send all the traffic you can our way, man. I agree. I just don't like how he said it was his fault. Then he blamed it on Doc. Just now, he just finding excuses at this point. But well, so this is the thing about Paul George. He's weak-minded. All right. So I'm gonna give you a couple of examples, and then I'm gonna also tell you what's going on with him and Doc. So Paul George, the first thing I noticed about him, I didn't notice this when he was in Indiana. I really thought Paul George was a leader at Indiana. But I kind of seen what he was really about, because he showed me one thing in Indiana. And then when he got to OKC, what really struck me odd is when because Westbrook used to have a little tension with some of the reporters at the post games. And some of his comments, was it is what it is. It was weird. When I see a person who is not normally like that adopt that style of thinking and reacting the same way Westbrook do it, I immediately knew, oh, this dude don't have a mind of his own. And only weak-minded people adopt someone else's thought process and how they react to certain things. That's a beta male move, right? So I was like, all right, yeah, that's the first thing I know. I say this dude weak. The second thing is when Damian Lillard hit that daggone half court three to end the series against them 2 years ago, and he comes out and said, "Oh, that was a bad shot." I said, "Man, if you just don't suck it up, man, that's a whole move." So I was like, "Okay, that's kind of weak too." Then he broke down in the bubble. I was like, "That's a little weak too, man." So he's showing me all the signs that he's just not mentally built like that. And it's not a knock, because you can still be a great player like that, because I don't think without Jordan, I don't think Scottie Pippen reaches that mentality that he actually got. It took him a while. Like I said, he sat out of a game 7 for a migraine. It just 5, 6, 7 years later, see his leader play with a stomach flu. I know he was probably thinking back like, man, I get to see this dude come out here with a stomach flu in a championship game and give it his all and score 35. And I let that man down. We probably could have been playing in the finals earlier than what we actually did if I would have helped him out in that game 7. You get what I'm saying? So everybody's not built like that. So all Paul George is showing us that he's not built like that, and that's fine. He can still be your number 2. It's just good that you showed me you're not built like that. So hopefully some of Kawhi rubs off on him. Also, what's going on with him and Doc is you got to remember Doc's daughter used to get smashed by Paul George. Paul George used to smash Doc Rivers' daughter. And he dogged her. Now Doc Rivers' daughter is married to Seth Curry, which is weird because Seth Curry is now in the Philadelphia 76ers being coached by his father-in-law. So if you remember the Dallas series against the Clippers, and Dallas almost beat them, and Seth Curry was freaking balling one game, him and Paul George had some words. Can you imagine your now wife publicly got humiliated by the team that your father-in-law is coaching? Like, can you imagine all of that wrapped up? Like, here's my here's my ex-girlfriend's dad coaching my squad. I dogged her. Here I am playing against her husband. We're trash talking back and forth. Just imagine if he said the wrong thing to Seth on the court, right? Imagine Seth talking to his father-in-law after the game and saying, "Hey, look, something like that." How do you coach that? There was a lot of stuff going on with that, man. A lot of stuff. And remember, it ain't like it was Doc's choice to bring Paul George in. Kawhi said, "Hey, man, I want a second player. Try to get this guy or try to get this guy." So he said, "I sign if you bring in Paul George." So I mean, I I wanted Doc to stay there, but thinking about a team being that good and it not working, a lot of times it's something that has nothing to do with basketball. So I think what they got moving forward might be the better situation, even though Doc might be a better coach than Ty Lue. Left a like, bro. I get your notifications on time. I see in the basketball favorite things, but I do agree. The point on LeBron's legacy, he'll never win the Jordan argument. You're right. He won't never win that. With lots of people, he'll take the rings stats under his belt. Opinions are opinions, but his legacy is in the books. MJ's legacy is in the books. LeBron's still building his legacy, but when it comes to Michael Jordan as a player, that's done. Like LeBron's not going to be a new type of player. He is what he is, and the player that LeBron is great. But to me, in my opinion, the player that LeBron is lesser than the player that Kobe and Mike is. So no matter what LeBron does to continue to build his paper resume for his legacy, because it's three legs to the GOAT debate. What's on paper is the stuff that most people argue. Well, he got 6 rings and he got this many scores. That's all on paper, right? What most people like Nick Wright ignore when they talk about the paper stats, the analytics, they talk about all this paper and they never talk about the actual game on the floor. They never talk about the players, where it's pretty obvious that LeBron is not a better player than Michael Jordan. That's obvious. You got to be real basketball illiterate to argue that. And the people who do argue it will say, go right back to what the stats. What he does more. This is the best argument I heard. Bigger, stronger, faster, and he does more. They say he's a all around better player. And when they say all around, they talking about, well, because he's recording points, stats, and assists, that makes him all around. No, that means he does more, right? But if doing all those things was the best formula for winning, then Mike would have been doing it, because he was doing it before Phil came. And Phil said, look, we got to take the ball out of your hands. So give kudos to Phil Jackson and give kudos to Michael Jordan for having the ability and putting his pride aside to go off the ball to win more. LeBron hasn't made that decision to go off the ball because he don't have the skill set to go off the ball. Can you imagine LeBron James coming off of screens and curl actions and shooting? Let's say LeBron get 25 shots a game. Can you imagine if, like Michael Jordan, out of those 25 shots, let's say 10 of them are post-up fadeaways, or 10 of them are post-ups. Let's say he get 10 post-ups, and you got a variation between 1, 2 dribble, pump fake, up and under, or fade away, or shimmy. All those moves Kobe and Michael Jordan do in the post. So imagine if out of 25 shots you take 10 of them are in the post. Now imagine 5 of them are you coming off of screens and catching, shooting. Right now, mind you, you ain't took more than 2 dribbles yet. That's how Michael Jordan played. I'm in the post, I get it, 1, 2, and he into his shot. right? That's 2 dribbles. Coming off of a screen, catch and shoot, no dribbles, right? So imagine out of 25 shots, 15 of them was in the post and off the ball catch and shoot situations. Then you got every now and then you get to go one-on-one ISO. That's not what LeBron's getting. This is what LeBron is getting. And I'm talking about half court offense. We know every fast breaks is what it is, but this is what LeBron is getting. I got the ball. I got 5 shooters on the floor. The paint is wide open. Someone's going to come and set me a screen, and I'm going to get a full head of steam running at the rim. And I'm either going to get a layup, or if you double, I'm going to pass it for a assist. That's pretty much his offense, right? Every now and then he might get 1 post up, 2 post ups here or there, might get 1 or 2 catch and shoots. But if he had to rely on off ball offense, catch and shoot and post up, you would see most of the flaws in his game. When he's got minimal amount of post ups and minimal amount of catch and shoot situations, you don't see those flaws. But when you have to do that constantly because you're in a triangle offense and Scottie Pippen is handling the ball, or Tolan Kukoc is handling the ball, or BJ Armstrong is handling the ball, you're only taking 2 dribbles of possession. Well, LeBron is beating the ball down to the floor, calling screens, trying to get switches. That he did that in against the Warriors, the whole series. Whoever Steph Curry is guarding, you come set the screen so I can get a switch, and I can drive to the hole on Steph Curry, or I can get a wrinkle in the offense because they're trying not to switch. So that means they got to go under the screen so I can pull a wide open 3-pointer because they're going over the under the screen. Like, that's his offense. You can't say that's a better all around player because he has the ball in his hand all the time. If you have the ball in your hand all the time, then that means your team is counting on you for assists. So if you're the main assist guy and the primary scorer, then that's 2 stats right there you're going to always have. You're going to always have points. You're going to always have assists because nobody on your team can get a shot without you passing it to them. And then you got the green light. And then if you're 6'9", of course you're going to be rebounding. So he's getting 7 rebounds a game, and Mike was getting 5 or 6. So where's the all around coming at? Because when I hear all around, I'm thinking 2-way player, because it's 2 sides of the court, offense and defense. So if Michael Jordan is a better defender than LeBron and a better scorer, then that means he's the better all around player, because that's half. Offense is half of the game. Defense is the other half, right? So if one player is doing scoring and assisting, that's all on the offensive end. If he's doing less on defense, then he's not the better all around player. He just have accumulated more stacks because of play style. But like I said, that play style don't win as much as the play style that Michael Jordan has. That play style is predicated on you having shooters, and you got to have like another top 5, top 10 player on your team. You got to have Wade, Kyrie, AD. It's just a flawed system, man. Toronto's a great center, but I think Kawhi had always, he did. He wanted to go to LA for the longest. Forgot about that. Probably he threw him under the bus. PG need to chill. Steph, man, and Steph is looking good this year. I'm gonna love to see him in Philly, because once he got healthy, I was wondering why he was bouncing around. I was like, this dude is a bona fide shooter. He can score. He's great. Why are teams giving up on him, man? And even when Dallas picked him back up, he was still in and out of the lineup. I'm like, come on, man, you gotta let that. I just hope he go and obviously going to Philly, their point guard situation ain't the best. So obviously I'm hoping they give him a shot to start. And which is perfect, because you got a point guard that's a shooter, which actually goes well with somebody like Ben Simmons. So when Ben Simmons decides that he wants to be a ball handler, you can still be on the floor with your point guard, right? And not miss a beat, man. So I think that's gonna be good too. Watch the previous videos in this channel. What's up, Marla? I appreciate you, brother. Thanks for the watch, man. That's right. Only I can say LeBron make it happen. 2015 finals. His best teammate was Dellavedova. That's not true. His best teammate was J.R. Smith. J.R. Smith ain't no slouch. It just sounds good when you say Dellavedova was his best teammates and he carried them to the finals. And another thing about that was it 2015. Hold on, 15. That's the year. Hold on, 15 was the year. All right, so one season Kevin Love got hurt before the finals, and Kyrie Irving got hurt at the beginning of the finals. I think that was 2015, right? So that means you can't use the narrative that LeBron carried a whack squad to the championship because he had Kyrie and Kevin Love all the way up to the Eastern Conference Finals. And we know there's not a lot of competition in the East. I think his best competition was Toronto and DeMar DeRozan. And DeMar DeRozan is weaker minded than Paul George. So if your team is led by DeMar DeRozan, your team is not being led. That's why they kept having the best record in the league, but never could get past LeBron because mentally, LeBron's tougher than him. So it was that Mike Tyson effect where Mike Tyson was knocking so many people out, and some people that was weak-minded had already lost before they stepped in the ring with Mike Tyson. That's what LeBron was doing in the East. If you didn't have a person that can match LeBron's killer and mental toughness, they already lost. And Toronto, every time they had a matchup with LeBron and the Cavs, Toronto had already lost. Same thing with the Indiana Pacers. Even when they had that squad, you know that almost beat the Cavaliers. I think they almost beat Miami. They almost beat a super team. Indiana had Miami on the ropes, but it was led by a weak-minded person, and then they melted down. And that team had good fiber, mentally tough. You know, had Lance Stevenson. He wasn't scared. You get what I'm saying? So, LeBron didn't carry a weak squad in 2015 to the final. Kyrie and Kevin Love and J.R. Smith helped him get to the finals, or at least the Eastern Conference Finals. Then they lost Kevin Love, but Kyrie still helped him get to the finals. And then Kyrie was lost in the first game of the finals. So no, he didn't carry a weak squad to the championship, but yeah, when he lost Love and Kyrie, he did have a squad when his best player was just J.R. Smith. And J.R. Smith can help you if you let him, but LeBron's inability to play off the ball only utilizes half of J.R. Smith's talents. J.R. Smith got ball skills, right? When you seen him in New York with Carmelo and in Denver with Carmelo, and they let him get the ball and do his thing, he can score on people. But J.R. Smith's role playing alongside LeBron was reduced to just being a catch and shoot player, which is harsh. You don't get a lot of opportunity, And people sacrifice so much to play with LeBron. Like Kevin Love sacrificed his post game, became a catch and shoot player. Big Z in Cleveland sacrificed his post game and became a stretch five. Chris Bosh sacrificed his post game and became a catch and shoot player. J.R. Smith sacrificed his ISO skills for catch and shoot player. Like, you only get one role with LeBron because he's doing everything. And that's because he got to, because, he can't play another way. Man, this video was supposed to be in 20 minutes. Hold on. Let me get to these questions before I roll up out of here, man. Y'all make sure y'all subscribe, man, so we can catch all these lives and we can have these convos. I forgot to put the call-in number up there. Y'all could have called in and chatted with me. I'll do that next time. I'll put the number up there so you can call. Making it happen, he was getting his teammates set up. He was taking it and shooting, defending, trying to grab every rebound. He was just going for it all. And you talking about LeBron, right? Yeah, I ain't gonna lie, he was going for it. I'm just, Jordan, Pippen, Rodman, Horace, Showtime Lakers, Golden State, 2015 to 2019, Shaq and Kobe Lakers. Jose, I think you're trying to say they were super teams. I don't think so. I got a definition for super team. We'll do that another time though. 2015, yeah, J.R. was, but Delly was hustling hard. Yeah, he was. But J.R. Smith was his best player, not Dellavedova. Bobcats needed LaMelo Ball, new fresh young blood that can bring excitement to the city. I agree. I hope there's a start of something great. I agree. I feel bad for the city. Hey, I felt bad for Charlotte when Michael Jordan had his first All-Star. Um, he had the All-Star. It wasn't last year or year before last. It was before that. But the NBA took it away. The NBA All-Star was supposed to be in Charlotte, so that was going to bring a lot of buzz, a lot of money to Michael Jordan, and I was happy for them. And the NBA took it away because they had a I want to say North Carolina rejected a that was something. I think it had something to do with having bathrooms for transsexuals. They was going to have it was a bill that was going to be passed that was going to put all government buildings and all state funded buildings was going to have separate bathrooms for trans. And the the local government in North Carolina rejected it. Was like, hell no, we're not passing that bill, right? So it made a big deal in the media, and that was like North Carolina rejected it. So that was like, if you're going to be against LGBTQ movement, then we're going to be against you. So they snatched the All-Star game away from Michael Jordan. Y'all don't remember that? Oh my God, man! But they finally got it back. Was it last year or year before last? Year before they finally got it back year before last though. I'm glad Michael Jordan was able to get it, man. Jordan had one of the best 4 teams all time. But why, Jose? But why was Michael Jordan's Bulls team so good? Right? You got to ask yourself, why is it easier to build a team that wins 72 games around Michael Jordan and Steph Curry, but you can't build a team to win 72 games around LeBron? Answer that question. Why teams are not good? Please explain to me why. How can you say that a team with LeBron in his prime, D Wade in his prime, Chris Bosh in his prime, Ray Allen as a role player, just fresh off of being a big 3 in Boston, Rashard Lewis as a bench player, fresh off of being a key component to a Orlando Magic playoff team, Mike Miller on the bench, who was just fresh off of being a key player with the Grizzlies and Paul Gasol and Jay Will, and Shane Battier, who was just fresh off being a key component with Houston Rockets playoff team. How can you have a team with all those players on it, and you tell me that LeBron has never had a great team? Right? How's that possible? B.J. Armstrong became an all-star after Jordan left. Ron Harper was nice before he went to the Bulls on top 5 greatest coaches of all time. Okay, so you got B.J. Armstrong. He was a one-time all-star, right? One time. Right? How many times Cal Corver make an all-star? He played with LeBron. Right? So Ron Harper, after several knee surgeries where he could barely jump over a phone book, you got that Ron Harper, right? The Dennis Rodman you got was 35. Now think about this. Detroit Pistons. All right. Now this is what all the people who speak against MJ would say. Michael Jordan never beat the great teams. They got old. So I want you to think about this. He finally beat the Detroit Pistons because they got old. And I want you to think about it. If the Detroit Pistons got old and one of their key players was Dennis Rodman, and then Dennis Rodman left Detroit and went to San Antonio and played with Dennis Rodman for about 3 or 4 years. And then after they got rid of him for just a average player, he come to the Bulls, and now all of a sudden he's not old no more. He's a superstar. Right? Just think about that. He played with Detroit. Detroit supposedly got old, right? So Michael Jordan finally beat him, and then Dennis Rodman go and have a whole nother stint with another team, and then finally comes to the Bulls at the end of his career, and people are giving him credit for being a superstar. Michael Jordan played with one superstar, and that's Scottie Pippen. And that's if you say that Scottie Pippen is a superstar. But I'm gonna say he's a superstar, right? So Michael Jordan played with one superstar, that's Scottie Pippen, right? Shaq and Kobe was two superstars. So let's talk about teams that had two superstars, right? Shaq and Kobe, two superstars. Jordan and Pippen, two superstars. Magic and Kareem, Magic and James Worthy, right? LeBron and Kyrie, Steph and KD. Let's go with David Robinson and Tim Duncan. I mean, the list goes on. Ralph Sampson, Hakeem Olajuwon. Like it's now you do have some teams that only had one superstar, right? Charles Barkley was a lone superstar with Phoenix. He had an all-star in Kevin Johnson, but Charles Barkley was the only superstar. Olajuwon won one ring with no other superstar. And then he got Clyde Drexler the next year. So you had Drexler and Olajuwon. So it was teams with two superstars. So what Michael Jordan had was normal. It was normal to have just two superstars, Jordan and Pippen, and then surround them with good players, good role players. So Jordan and Pippen was two superstars. That's normal. But what is it when you have three superstars in their prime? That means they all three have been number one players on playoff teams and proven to be a superstar, and they're not in there. That they didn't come together when their season was over or their career was over, like Karl Malone and Gary Payton when they went to the Lakers. That was done. That was past their prime. There wasn't before their prime young bucks like OKC, Harden, Westbrook, and KD, right? So when you're before your prime or past your prime, that don't count. What I'm talking about is superstars in their prime on one team. Michael Jordan has never had three. LeBron James had Wade, Bosh, and himself, three superstars on one squad in their prime, on top of having Ray Allen, who was a superstar, Rashard Lewis, who was an all-star, Mike Miller, who is a huge, great role player and a great shooter, and Shane Battier, who was another 3-and-D guy. Great. Like, come on, man. Think about that. Michael Jordan ain't never had that, and he still won 72 games. So the difference between any other superstar and Michael Jordan, people think that what teams Michael Jordan played over was super teams, but the only thing that made it super is Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan made it a super team. Right? I know you think I'm right, Jose. That's because you got quiet. All right, man. Look, I'm gonna get out of here, man, because I only plan to get on here for like 20 minutes, man, but it went long. So make sure you subscribe, man. Make sure you share the channel. I appreciate y'all for coming in and chatting with me, man. But yeah, this was really a conversation of Houston and the Wizards. Yeah, I know you're laughing now. Hold on. See, you ain't gonna let me out of here, Jose. If Jordan and Pippen the only star, no, I didn't say they was the only stars. I said they was the only superstars. The only superstars. They had way better role players than any other team in the 90s. BJ was solid. Ron was locked down. Dennis was getting 13 boards. There's a lot of people that was getting 13 boards. You remember Jason Williams that played for the New Jersey Nets? He got a huge contract for being a rebounder. Getting 13 boards wasn't hard. You remember Charles Barkley? He was getting 13 boards. You know what I mean? So I mean, Dennis Rodman was a rebounder and a defender. That's not a superstar. He wasn't even an all-star. He was just smart and hustled and played good defense. Let me put it to you this way. Dennis Rodman playing with the San Antonio Spurs with Dennis Rodman didn't turn it into a championship team. They got put out by Houston. They got put out by Phoenix. Think about that. So Dennis Rodman ain't the difference maker. He's a supplement. The difference maker is MJ. Dennis Rodman is a supplement. You put Dennis Rodman on any other squad, does that squad become a contender? Right? Can't if put it this way, Jose. If I was building a franchise and I said, hey, I need a superstar to build around, would you pick Dennis Rodman? No. You can't build around Dennis Rodman. LeBron James was playing with two other players with one on the bench. He was playing with three players who has had franchises built around them. Milwaukee built around Ray Allen. The Seattle Supersonics built around Ray Allen, and Ray Allen was part of a big three super team in Boston. He was on the bench. A number one player was on the bench. And now I'm going to admit that he was at the end of his career, but being that he took care of his body and didn't sustain major injuries, he was still very serviceable. And he's one of the greatest shooters of all time. He had that on the bench, right? D Wade won a championship and had Miami built around him. Chris Bosh had Toronto built around him. Chris Bosh was pretty much equivalent. I wouldn't say equivalent to AD, but he was kind of like AD, like a number one guy who franchise didn't bring enough help for him to be super successful, but he was really good. That was his third guy. He was a number one who fit into a third guy role. Wade was a number one who fit into a second guy role. Right. So you got three number ones on one team in their prime. Right. All three has had franchises built around them successfully. You can't build no franchise around Dennis Rodman. You can barely build a franchise around Pippen. You see how it worked out when he went to Houston. That didn't work out fine. You see what happened when he went to the Blazers. He was a good leader there, but he was averaging like 11 points. Rasheed Wallace and Bonzi Wells and Steve Smith was scoring them baskets. And Damon Stoudemire and Detlef Schrempf and Brian Grant. That squad was stacked. Greg Anthony was coming off the bench. That was a stacked squad. So when you talk about superstars and you talk about super teams and you talk about teams being great, just because you have smart role players that help you don't mean that you had a super team, right? Michael Jordan has never had a team full of superstars. LeBron James had. Michael Jordan has never had a number one as his number three. And at Rodman's best in his prime when he was in Detroit, he was never an option on the squad. You had Isaiah, you had Joe Dumars, you had Mike Aguirre coming off the bench, and then you had Bill Laimbeer and Rick Mahorn, right? Rodman was just a guy that was out there to agitate, rebound, and play defense, right? When you get that guy by himself, you see what Draymond Green did. Draymond Green looks good when he got the real superstars on the squad, Steph, Clay, and KD. Draymond looked real good. But when it's Draymond by himself, you see what real basketball is about. And you see that, hey, some guys just have the effort, the drive, the mentality, the basketball IQ. When you have a guy like that, when you have a character guy, a locker room guy, they only work when you already have your foundation and your superstar, and you put them together and it works. But by itself, it doesn't hold under any scrutiny. Dennis, we got to stop putting Dennis Rodman on this pedestal just because we want to bring down Michael Jordan a little bit and say he had a super squad. He didn't have a super squad. Dennis Rodman is not that, and he was like 37 when he retired. Oh, when he left the Bulls. He was old. Come on, think about it. He battled with MJ when he was in Detroit with the Bad Boy Pistons that everybody else said was old. You know what? I got something back to say, but I'm gonna let you go. We're not done. I still got stuff I need to break down. Okay, Jose. I jump on again tomorrow then, especially if something breaking news pop up. Yeah, Chris, that's a good question. Who's your favorite team of all time? It's probably we go see. I'm a Clippers fan. Who's the best team all time or favorite? Oh, Clippers fan, Jose, huh? All right. Oh, we're gonna have a fun season, man. We're gonna have a fun season talking about hey, look, I can't wait for NBA to come back. I've been loving football. I've been loving football this year. Um I really want Aaron Rodgers to get MVP this season. Um I've been loving it, but man, when basketball come back, but it's gonna be if it's gonna be the bubble again, it's gonna be a little different. I don't know if I want a bubble for 72 games. How they gonna do that? So that's gonna be hard. But I mean, the NFL is traveling. They're just not having fans in the stands. So maybe they do travel, but it's different. It's really different because with the NBA, you got 16 games, right? You got 16 games you're traveling for. With the NBA, the team is traveling for 72 games. So that's gonna be a whole lot different. A whole lot different. Y'all disrespectful. That was the first time I watched when I was that was the first time. Hey, but you can always switch up, man. The first team I watched play, the first team I watched playing football was the Buffalo Bills. And I think I had a friend, him and his dad was Redskin fans. And I wasn't watching football back then. I think I was like I was in elementary school. And I was at his house one day and he was like, who's your favorite football team? I was like, I don't know, I have one. And then he was like, hey man, it's this good team I seen that played in the snow. It was the Buffalo Bills. And I was like, man, they played in the snow. So I liked it. So that's how I picked the Buffalo Bills. I started liking Buffalo. I started watching them, started watching football. And that was my team all the way up until the Music City Miracle when Wade Phillips was coaching. And we had Doug Flutie on the bench who had played a phenomenal season. But we also had this young quarterback, Rob Johnson, who matched all the physical. He was 6'4", 6'5". He had that strong arm like Drew Bledsoe. And the Bills and Wade Phillips wanted him to be their starter so bad. But Doug Flutie had just came in and won them like 4 or 5 straight games. And then got him in the playoffs. And the first game of the playoffs, Wade Phillips decided, I'm going to bitch Flutie so we can put Rob Johnson in. So at that moment, I said, I can't do this more. I lived through 4 straight Super Bowls losing it. You lose a heartbreak to a field goal against Lawrence Taylor in the Giants. Then you get blowed out by the Redskins, embarrassed. Then you get blowed out by the Dallas Cowboys 2 times in a row. I lived through all of that. I stayed for all of that. But the straw that broke the camel's back was the Doug Flutie and Rob Johnson situation and that Music City Miracle. I said, this team is snake bitten. I'm done. So I said, I'm not going to have a team. And then of course, I didn't even like our expansion team because we got an expansion team in Carolina from where I'm from. And I didn't like them because I just didn't like them. And then eventually once I joined the military and left, when you leave your hometown, you think about it a lot. So I just started rooting for my home team because I wasn't at home. So I really, a piece of me was whole when I watched Carolina games. So I was a Carolina Panthers fan for a little while. Here's my Panthers jersey. I was a Carolina Panthers fan for a little while. But recently, and y'all want to laugh at me. Don't judge me, but just hear me out. We'll talk about it later because I got to go. Don't laugh at me, but I am now a person that don't claim a team in football or basketball. And I explain to you why next time I go live. I don't have a squad, right? I don't have a squad. So yeah, I'll be back for the next pod. Hey, Chris, was you with us when we went live last night? We record every Tuesday live for the podcast. They go live on this channel and on Facebook as well. Also, we have a man down Podcast Network Facebook page, and then we have a Man Down Podcast group on Facebook. If you join that group and like that page, we post content there as well. And I'm telling you, it's so many good debates in the Man Down group. You'll love that group. Join that group too. I think the most recent debate we got is one of the admins of the group created a bracket tournament for all time players by position. So we did centers first, and depending on what your status was, you was a 1 seed or 16 seed, just like a March Madness bracket. And then we created a poll and everyone votes on it until it gets to the number one. I think for the centers, it was Kareem. Then we did point guards. For point guards, it came out in the championship. Well, for the centers, Wilt and Kareem was in the championship. For the point guards, Magic and Isaiah was in the championship. And, I think Magic got like 50 votes to Isaiah's 4. So it was overwhelmingly Magic. And they just started the point guards ones yesterday. So I'm not point guards, but shooting guards yesterday. So I'm interested to see how that's going to be, man. Yeah, man, y'all make sure y'all join the group and like the page as well. If y'all can help me out, make sure y'all subscribe to the YouTube channel. I can't say that enough. That's the best way to support. Because if I can get to 1,000 subscribers, then I can start to really do some things with this podcast and try to monetize it. And if I monetize it, every penny I get is going to go toward trying to make everything more viewable for y'all. Better camera, better lighting, better background, all this, better audio, all that stuff. Try to make all that stuff better, and make sure I can bring y'all content and stuff like that. So help me build the channel up, man. Make sure y'all subscribe. Make sure y'all share it with people. Tell them subscribe. Tell them how dope it is. And if you miss the lives, when we go live, you can always go on iTunes or Spotify and just search Man Down and listen to the podcast, the edited version. And if you do that, make sure you leave a 5-star rating in iTunes. That helps out as well. Everything y'all do helps out. That's support, man. And I appreciate that. And if y'all got videos y'all want me to react to, send those. If y'all got topics y'all want to talk about, send it as well, man. Hey, Chris, we all need to deal with Jose, because he just he over here bashing MJ, man. You can't. Hey, this is a non-MJ bashing channel, man. We don't bash him, Jay, aka MJ. We don't bash him. We don't bash the GOAT, man. The GOAT is the GOAT. You know what I mean? You just got to handle it like that, man. But all right, man. Let me get out of here, man. Peace, fellas. I appreciate y'all sticking it out with me, man. I'll catch y'all. Peace.